Welcome to the Law Offices of Chris M. Ingram podcast. We are concluding our discussion on the K-1 90-day fiancé visa. Let's dive into part 4 of this 4-part series. Before we get started, we would like to acknowledge attorney Chris Ingram and his dedicated legal team. They did a great job researching and preparing this material for us. We are thrilled to be able to present this topic for you today.
Okay, let's unpack this. In our previous deep dive, we really focused on some of the intricate country-specific challenges that K-1 applicants face. We got into how certain regions, like China, for example, tend to come under much higher consular scrutiny.
Right. And it's not always just, broad geopolitical stuff. Sometimes it's very specific patterns they've seen, maybe even past misuse from that region. It sets a precedent.
Yeah, exactly. It creates this sort of web of factors that makes an already tough process feel even more daunting for people.
And understanding those regional details, beyond just the basic K-1 rules, that really makes a huge difference. Our team sees that all the time. And what was really fascinating, I thought, was that case study our legal team researched, Michael and Lee.
Yes, that one perfectly illustrated it. They met on lawn, which, can sometimes be a red flag. And Lee had that prior visa history, which could have raised eyebrows.
Right.
But because they had a licensed attorney guiding them with really strategic preparation, they navigated it successfully.
It wasn't just submitting papers, was it?
Not at all. It was about the specific evidence they gathered, stuff that directly addressed those potential red flags. And the interview prep, that was absolutely critical.
So connecting that to the bigger picture, it really highlights how important it is to anticipate challenges based on where the applicant is coming from.
Absolutely. You just can't use a one-size-fits-all approach. You've got to tailor the strategy. Our researchers have found that foresight isn't just helpful, it's often the key. Makes the difference between approval and denial, honestly.
Exactly. And that foresight, that preparation, it really sets us up perfectly for today's deep dive, because today we're looking at maybe the most challenging scenario you can imagine, overcoming these extreme geopolitical barriers.
Yeah, this is where it gets really complex.
We've got another powerful case study from our legal team that really brings this whole thing to life. It takes all those lessons about prep and country knowledge to a whole new level.
This is where the stakes are incredibly high.
And having that professional legal guidance isn't just a good idea. It's pretty much essential. It's like navigating a global minefield while trying to build a life. Okay, so let's get into the story of Rachel and Omar. It's quite remarkable. Rachel, she's a 38-year-old journalist from New York. Omar, 33, a Syrian refugee. They met when Rachel was on a reporting assignment in Jordan back in 2022.
Just imagine that setting, refugee camps near Amman. Not exactly your typical meet cute.
No, not at all. But they connected deeply over these long discussions about literature, human rights, fueled by coffee, apparently. Omar shared stories about his childhood in Damascus. Before the war really changed everything, it gave Rachel this really personal window into his world.
That kind of connection, forged in such difficult circumstances, it's powerful. It transcends backgrounds.
Definitely. A testament to, human connection finding a way.
And that initial connection, that's absolutely crucial for the immigration case later on. Our attorneys always stress that. Their bond wasn't just like a brief thing. They kept it going with encrypted signal messages that provides privacy, but also a record.
Right, the documentation.
Exactly. And Rachel made these annual trips to Jordan. Dedicated visits.
And she met his family.
Yes, she met his cousins on one trip. That detail, meeting family, it seems small, but it's huge for proving the relationship's depth and legitimacy to officials. Shows integration, real intent.
Makes sense.
Then, in 2024, during her third visit, Omar proposed. Under the stars, in a Bedouin camp.
Wow.
With a ring made from a family heirloom. It's incredibly romantic, but also tangible proof of their commitment for the legal case.
So that authentic story, well documented, becomes vital evidence.
Absolutely vital, especially when you're dealing with the kind of scrutiny that comes with crossing major geopolitical divides like Syria and the U.S.
It's a beautiful story. It really humanizes the whole legal process. But here's where the reality check comes in, right? The challenges.
The really tough part.
They start planning a wedding in New York, but Syria's instability, Omar's refugee status, that immediately threw up huge K-1 visa hurdles.
Massive hurdles. You're talking about a situation where an entire country's political context becomes the main obstacle.
It's not just proving love, it's proving legitimacy against a backdrop of, high-risk perception.
Exactly. And that's where so many couples without expert help just get completely stuck.
So what happens when that geopolitical context is the primary barrier? What did they try first?
Well, our team looked into this. Initially, Rachel and Omar did what many people do. They tried the DIY route.
Understandable. Tried to save money, maybe thought it was straightforward.
Right. They used online forums, bought one of those $200 visa guide PDFs. They submitted photos, their signal logs, Rachel's travel receipts, stuff they thought was sufficient.
But it wasn't?
No. Our legal team's analysis showed USCIS rejected the petition in late 2024.
Why? What was the reason?
The official reason was inconsistencies in Omar's travel history, which is almost inevitable for a refugee, and crucially, limited official documentation to verify his identity and movements because of the chaos in Syria. It just highlights how those generic guides often completely miss the complexity of high-risk cases like this.
So the cheap guide ended up costing them more in the long run.
Exactly. Wasted time, money, and just immense frustration and heartbreak. A false economy.
So faced with that rejection, what was the next step? They must have been devastated.
They were frustrated, absolutely. But they didn't give up. They made a really smart move. They hired Ayesha.
Okay.
She's a licensed attorney who actually specializes in Middle Eastern immigration cases.
The specialization. That seems key.
It was the turning point. Not just any lawyer, but someone with deep expertise in the specific challenges they were facing. Finding the right expert changed everything.
So what did Ayesha do differently?
Well, Ayesha, leveraging her expertise and the detailed research from our team, didn't just tweak the old application. She refiled a 400-page petition.
400 pages. Wow.
Yeah. Let that sink in. 400 pages. And it wasn't just volume for volume's sake. Every single page served a strategic purpose.
What kind of evidence was in there?
Okay, so crucially, Omar's UNHCR refugee documents. UNHCR is the UN Refugee Agency.
Right, for people who can't get papers from their home country.
Precisely. Those documents are recognized internationally and were vital since getting anything official from Syria was impossible. That established his identity.
Okay, what else?
But get this, 2,000 translated signal messages.
2,000?
Yes. Not just to show they talked, but to demonstrate the depth, the consistency, the evolution of their relationship over a long period. Hard to argue it's fake with that kind of record.
No kidding.
Plus, more photos from Rachel's visits, showing them together shared experiences, and very importantly, affidavits.
From who?
From Rachel's editors, validating her reason for being in Jordan and Omar's coworkers in the camp. Third-party corroboration. Independent proof.
This sounds incredibly thorough.
It was. And to tackle the Syria high-risk profile head-on, Ayesha included a detailed legal letter.
What did that cover?
It explicitly explained their meeting during Rachel's legitimate reporting assignment. It provided compelling evidence of their engagement ceremony, framing it in a way officials could understand culturally.
So, anticipating the doubts before they were even raised.
Exactly. The whole approach, based on our team's research and strategy, was designed to preempt every possible suspicion, leave no stone unturned, build a case so solid there's just no room for doubt.
This is an incredible level of detail and strategic thinking, really going above and beyond the basic requirements. Okay, so the petition is refiled.
Yep.
Then came the interview in Amman, February 2025. That must have been nerve-wracking.
Extremely tense, especially for Omar, given his background and everything riding on it.
How did Ayesha and the legal team prep him for that? What were the specific worries?
Well, our attorneys knew from experience this would be the ultimate test, especially with the Syria factor. So they didn't just do a quick run-through. They conducted 5 rigorous mock interviews with Omar.
5? Seriously?
5, absolutely critical. These were intense sessions, simulating the real thing as closely as possible. They drilled him on specific, tough questions about his refugee background, his displacement, life in the camp, the documentation issues.
Making sure he could explain it clearly.
And consistently. They also prepped him for questions about the 5-year age gap. Not necessarily a problem, but something officials might ask about.
Right, needed good explanations.
And Rachel's extensive travels to the region, making sure he could explain her legitimate work and how their relationship developed alongside it.
Did the real interview match the prep?
It did. The consular officer apparently grilled Omar intensely. went deep into the courtship timeline, his intentions in the U.S., looking for any inconsistency.
But he was ready.
He was ready. Thanks to that rigorous preparation by our researchers, his answers were calm, consistent, and backed by that mountain of evidence. He got approved after a 3-month background check.
Rome, 20,000 spectators, one epic battle, 2 warriors, one destiny. But before they can fight for glory, they must face the real challenge, getting their visa approved.
If you want to enter, show me your visa.
They should have went to the law offices of Chris M. Ingram. They are very good.
Yes, I've heard the same. They handled my visa in no time.
Off to the lion's pit.
Come with me, boys. It's dinner time.
Because even legends need the offices of Chris M. Ingram.
Are you looking for a visa? Why don't you get your free consultation on the Breakthrough website? We're with you every step of the way.
Wow. It just shows the power of that intense preparation in high-stakes situations.
Absolutely. Especially when geopolitics adds that extra layer of complexity, knowing your story inside out is key.
Okay, so visa approved. But you mentioned earlier that's not always the final hurdle. The port of entry can still be tricky.
Yes, absolutely. That's a point our attorneys always stress to clients. It's a common misunderstanding.
The CBP officers have the final say.
Exactly. Customs and Border Protection at the airport make the final admissibility call. And for Omar, arriving at JFK, it was tense.
What happened?
The CBP officers scrutinized his UNHCR documents very closely, openly questioning him, clearly suspicious because he was Syrian. They operate with a baseline assumption of risk in these cases.
That must have been terrifying for him.
Immensely stressful. But this is where the depth of preparation by attorney Chris Ingram and his team really paid off again.
How so?
Ayesha had prepared a specific packet for CBP. Not just copies of the main petition, but a concise, organized set of the most compelling evidence for quick review.
Like what?
Key things like engagement photos, proof of their commitment, and even a copy of their wedding venue contract in New York.
Showing immediate, concrete plans.
Exactly. Tangible proof right there. It still took a stressful 30-minute secondary inspection where they pull you aside for more questioning. But that packet made the difference. It secured his entry.
So critical to be prepared for every single stage, even that last step at the airport.
You have to be. Ready to prove your good faith all over again, even with a visa stamp. Anticipate every point of friction.
So after all that, what was the outcome for Rachel and Omar? Such an incredibly tough journey.
It really was. But yes, a happy ending. They got married in a New York courthouse in April 2025.
A new beginning.
Truly symbolic. They had a celebration with Rachel's colleagues and Omar's friends from Jordan, joined by Zoom, bridging the distance.
Yeah, wonderful.
And Ayesha and the team continued to guide them through the next step adjustment of status.
Right, getting the green card.
Omar got his green card by December 2025. Their whole story just powerfully underscores the absolute necessity of specialized legal help when navigating these extreme geopolitical barriers.
It really does. Perseverance, love, and that crucial expert guidance, turning the impossible into reality. It's such a powerful story. But what broader lessons can we pull from Rachel and Omar's experience and the other cases our legal team has researched? How can couples maximize their chances for K-1 success generally?
Yeah, looking across all the research, our team has identified several best practices that consistently make a difference for K-1 applicants. These really apply across the board. First, and we really can't stress this enough based on the cases, engage licensed attorneys.
Non-negotiable, you think?
Honestly, yes, based on everything we've seen. You need U.S. licensed attorneys or accredited firms. It ensures you're following the complex, ever-changing rules, but it also gives you access to specialized expertise, particularly for tricky cases. Attorneys like those on Chris Ingram's team have that consular radar, an intuition about unwritten rules, specific red flags for certain regions based on handling hundreds of cases.
They see problems before they happen.
Exactly. Trying to save money with DIY or non-accredited folks like Rachel and Omar initially did almost always costs more in delays, rejections, and just heartache.
It's an investment in security.
Precisely. Avoids the much higher cost of failure. Second, compile robust evidence. Go way beyond a few photos.
Like the 400 pages.
Right. Think comprehensive travel records showing you were physically together. Translated chat logs, hundreds, even thousands, like Omar's 2,000 messages. To show the depth and consistency, yes, proves it wasn't fleeting. And affidavits from friends, family, coworkers, independent voices confirming your relationship is real. The more thorough and varied the proof, the harder it is for officials to doubt you. Third, prepare for interviews. Practice is key.
Not just knowing your story, but being able to tell it under pressure.
Exactly. You face consular officers abroad and CBP officers at entry. Anticipate the tough questions like Omar faced about his refugee status, the age gap, Rachel's travels. Practice calm, consistent, truthful answers.
Not memorizing, but internalizing.
Right, understanding it so deeply it flows naturally. They look for consistency and genuine feeling. Fourth, address country-specific risks. This is where that specialized attorney knowledge is gold.
Like the Syria situation.
Or China, like we discussed before. Is there a history of fraud from that country? Geopolitical instability. A good attorney from our team identifies these risks up front and builds a strategy to mitigate them.
Proactive defense.
Exactly. Maybe it means extra documents, specific legal arguments, highlighting what makes your case different, not waiting for problems to arise. And finally, plan the 90-day timeline. The K-1 visa clock starts ticking the moment the fiancé arrives.
You gotta get married within 90 days.
Right. Need to have wedding plans sorted. But also, crucially, be ready for the next step. Adjustment of status to get the green card.
It doesn't end with the wedding.
Not at all. Our team stresses seeing the whole process as interconnected. Petition, visa, entry, marriage, green card. Thinking several steps ahead is key for a smooth journey. It's a marathon.
Okay, so pulling all these threads together from across the series. Sarah and Juan's smooth ride, Michael and Lee overcoming hurdles, Emily and Aid's initial setback, Rachel and Omar's incredible journey. What are the biggest, universal takeaways our team has identified that apply to everyone trying to navigate the K-1 process?
Yeah, looking at all the research by our attorneys, a few core lessons really stand out. They highlight why the K-1 is such a vital path, but also how to tackle its challenges. First, and it echoes what we just said, legal counsel is essential. It's not optional for a smooth process, it's fundamental.
We saw that contrast clearly.
Absolutely. Sarah and Juan. Seamless because they had expert help from day one. Michael and Lee succeeded despite complexities because their attorney knew how to handle those red flags. And the others. Emily and Aid's delays with non-accredited help, Rachel and Omar's DIY rejection. They starkly show the risks of going it alone or using inadequate support. The investment in proper legal help isn't a cost, it's an assurance. It safeguards your future, plain and simple. Second big takeaway, preparation is critical. This came up in every single successful case.
No matter the circumstances.
Right, whether it's building that mountain of evidence like Rachel and Omar did or drilling for interviews, thorough prep is the foundation. Our researchers found it directly prevents delays, avoids those dreaded requests for evidence, and minimizes denial risk. Build an airtight case. Third, geopolitical challenges require expertise. Omar's Syrian background, Lei's Chinese application, these aren't general cases.
Needs specialized knowledge.
Definitely. There's no standard playbook for dealing with high-risk countries, documentation issues from conflict zones, or specific fraud concerns. Our team's research proves that specialized knowledge of those regions and their specific immigration quirks makes all the difference. It's about understanding the unwritten rules. And fourth, quality over cost. This lesson often comes too late for some couples.
The cheap option ends up being expensive.
Almost always. Non-accredited services, generic guides. They seem like savings up front, but lead to rejections, delays, huge stress. Reputable licensed attorneys, like Chris Ingram's team, navigate it correctly from the start. It's a strategic investment in your future together, and the U.S. values security over a superficial discount.
So bringing it all together, the K-1 process, yeah, it's complex. Legal hurdles, evidence, sometimes geopolitics making it seem impossible.
It can feel overwhelming.
But as attorney Chris Ingram and his team have shown us through these real cases, it is definitely doable. It's achievable with diligence and that key ingredient, professional support. Investing in good legal help, committing to thorough prep that allows couples to overcome these borders, navigate the bureaucracy, and actually build that life together here.
It's a journey, absolutely. But a possible one with the right guidance?
We've spent 4 parts really digging into the K-1 visa, the hurdles, the successes, all thanks to the research from attorney Chris Ingram and his team. Stepping back from just immigration law for a second, is there a broader takeaway here?
That's a good question.
I mean, think about the level of meticulous preparation, the need for specialized expertise for complex systems, the sheer perseverance involved.
Right. It's not just about visas.
This whole deep dive, based on our team's research, it really shows how having the right guides, the right information, and just sheer dedication can open up paths that seem totally blocked. Maybe it makes you think, how could that apply to other big challenges in life? Bureaucratic tangles, personal goals that seem insurmountable? Does it encourage you to seek out specialized knowledge, plan meticulously, and realize that complex problems often do have solutions with the right approach? Thank you so much for being with us today. We hope you gained a lot from this discussion. Once again, we would like to thank Attorney Chris Ingram and his team for researching and preparing this material for our presentation today. They are doing an awesome job. Please leave us a comment if you can, as it really means a lot to all the staff. If you'd like to book a free consultation, please visit www.breakthroughusa.com. See you next time on Let's Talk U.S. Immigration. Bye for now.